anyone can set up over the ball. They can leverage their grip, and you are basically set up in an environment that's already controlled. So all you have to do, if your swing is 80% done before you even take the club back, you've only got to control 20% of your swing. And when you set up like that and you have a spine-centered posture, you literally can take out over 50% of the unwanted motion in your golf swing.
Golf Smarter number 712. It's the takeaway that dictates your downswing. More on the 2-6 golfer method with Terry Bradley.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Terry.
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you? Where are you?
Where am I? Where in the world is
Carmen
Terry?
San Diego? Where are you?
I right now, well, the last time we talked, Fred, I was in Louisville, Kentucky, my hometown. But we come to Grenada half the year. We're in a country called Grenada down here in the West Indies, about 90 miles east of Venezuela, near South America. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Weather great?
Yeah.
You get 12 months a year golf?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every day. I mean, middle of February, middle of January, middle of winter, it's always
How close to the equator are you?
Pretty close. Mid 80s all year round, low 70s all year round.
Yeah. And the sun comes up and goes down basically the same time every day.
6 a.m. it comes up and it sets every day at 6 p.m. 12 hours of sunlight all year round.
Yep.
I'm in bed, Fred. I'm in bed by 8 p.m. and I'm up by 4 a.m.
Ugh. Why?
Because I don't know. When my body gets 8 hours of sleep, I'm ready to get up. That's what it is.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move. That's awesome. Hey, Terry, let's start from the beginning again, because last time you were on, we had a lot of fun, and apparently you got some great reaction, and I'm really glad to hear that. But for those who've yet to hear about it, what is 2-6 golfer?
Well, 2-6 golfer is a golf method that derives from two simple swing adjustments. Golfers are leveraging their grip and their spine center and their posture before they even swing the club. And so those two adjustments puts the golfer in position to where they can get to all 6 club and all 6 body positions more easily. And if you stick with it long enough, that more easily turns into automatic.
Mm-hmm. 6 different body positions?
No. Well, yeah. 6 different body positions in terms of when you look at your body parts. Well, body parts and club positions. When you talk about body parts, your head, your shoulders, arms, wrists and hands, hips, knees, and feet.
Okay.
And you talk about club positions. You talk about the 6 major club positions. The takeaway, rotation at the top of your backswing, downswing slot, impact, rotation, release, follow through. All that happens together.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, for me, Fred, for 15 years, I was your average weekend hacker. And after 15 years, I decided either I was going to quit the game or I was going to have to change something, because, the definition of insanity is doing what? Doing the same thing over and over and over
again.
Think you're going to get different results. And personally, I was a YouTube guy. I went to YouTube every season, every spring, dusted off my clubs, thinking, okay, what's new this year? What's going to help me move into this, to another level of golf? And, for 15 years, it didn't work.
Sure.
And then I decided there had to be a change. So all I did basically was, and I have this on my workshops, I saw a picture of Ernie Els in a magazine years ago, and Ernie was in the slot position. And I looked at his position and I said, you know what? There's no way he's going to be able to square that club face at the ball. I said, there's just no way. He's out of position. And the more I looked at it and the more I went to my DVR and slowed down Tour Pro swings, I realized that these guys weren't hitting at the ball; they were hitting through the ball, and hitting,
different.
yeah, and hitting through the ball. You have to set up that environment. It just doesn't happen by magic. You have to set it up from your takeaway, and that's what set me off on this I guess crusade of, I'm better than what I am. I mean, I'm a better athlete than my scores show. I'm a 20 plus handicap, and I just knew that I could play the game better because of how easy it was made to seem on TV, and that's where it went. That's where it evolved.
When you said that Els was in the slot position, and I'm guessing that's one of the 6 that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At 2-6 we call it the cradle. We don't call it the slot. I don't know what the slot means.
That's what I was about to ask. What does that mean?
Nobody's ever explained to me what the slot is. It's just something that derived out of thin air. So I call it the cradle because we're cradling that club. We're getting that club in position. We're handling that golf club with care as it comes into the cradle. And then we're hitting through the ball. So I call it the 2-6 cradle. But go ahead. It's the slot to guys who are familiar with golf in general.
Well, let's pretend. I'm not pretending at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. Right. So talk about each of these positions and try to be as graphic as you possibly can in explaining it. So I know what?
Exactly.
I'm sorry for being dumb.
No. The thing is, and one of the things that we talk about at 2-6 is, when you set up right, when you set up with the right posture, spine-centered posture, leverage grip, your swing is 80% done before you even take the club back. Now, the magic to that, Fred, is anyone under a controlled environment can set up over the ball, spine-centered posture. They can leverage their grip, the right way to where it works with the club exclusively. And you are basically set up in an environment that's already controlled. So all you have to do, if your swing is 80% done before you even take the club back, you've only got to control 20% of your swing. And when you set up like that and you have a spine-centered posture, you literally can take out over 50% of the unwanted motion in your golf swing. And the unwanted motion I'm talking about is when golfers want to hit the ball really hard, what they'll do is they'll sway and twist off the ball. They'll get way too much weight on their right side. For right-handed golfers, they'll get way too much weight on their right side. And guess what, Fred? Now they're going to spend the whole time on the downswing trying to correct the weight shift on the way down. Whereas at 2-6, we have what we call a pressure shift. So when you set up correctly with the spine-centered posture, 2-6 leverage grip, you maintain the space off the ball, you create width on your backswing, you stay centered to the top. Now you're in a position, Fred, to shift pressure, not weight, to your lead side. And let me just give you a little analogy. Shifting pressure in the golf swing is like handling a gas. It's so light, but yet so effective. When you're trying to shift weight from your right side to your left side, you're literally trying to lug what I call cinder blocks into your left side. So if we can put golfers in a position before they even swing the club now to set up their backswing and their downswing to where they're shifting pressure, now they're rolling. Now they're using all the technology in the golf club. And now all the club positions and all the body positions are now working not sequentially, but simultaneously in one fluid motion on the takeaway and the downswing.
Is the setup different?
The setup is different, not because it's quirky. It's different because what's happening and what I found in golf instruction over my 15 years of searching is sometimes instructors are really, really reluctant to say, put more weight on that lead leg, put more weight on that left leg. Because to the average golfer, when you talk about putting weight on the left leg, now in their mind, they've been taught, well, if I do that, then I'm going to have a reverse C. I'm going to have a reverse pivot coming through the ball.
Yeah, that's going to mess up my back.
It's going to mess up your back. Right. But my members are very, very good. They're very educated, and they send me videos all the time. And one of my members sent me a video of Lee Trevino. And, of course, Lee Trevino, streetwise, he's got street cred because he's on the tour and, he's one of the best players ever. And Trevino, in his form, in his fashion, said, guys, I see all these videos on TV and on YouTube, and they want you guys getting back here. And he was demonstrating, getting over to your right side, getting weight on the right side. And in Lee Trevino's words, and of course I can't do Lee too good, he says that's a no-no, because as soon as you do that, you're going to get the big banana ball. Mm-hmm. And then he demonstrated why getting weight on the right side just leads to fat shots, how it leads to thin shots, because you've only got 0.8 seconds to get the club going on the downswing. 0.8 seconds. So why would you spend all your 0.8 seconds trying to correct a twist and sway off the ball on your backswing?
All right, we're going to get into more of the setup and then what happens after that, but let's take a quick time out and we'll be right back. Okay, so now the setup's a bit different. And
let me explain more of the setup, Freddie. Can I do that?
Yeah. Oh, please.
Okay. When you set up over the ball, and I'm going to do this because I've been teaching this for 4 years, and I've gotten a lot better at explaining this. Thank
goodness, because this is a podcast.
Yeah. Now I gotta really use my my animation here. When golfers set up over the ball, traditionally they set up over the ball with weight evenly distributed on both legs. They just set up weight evenly distributed. Well, the problem with that is when an instructor tells you, okay, take the club back, get the club to parallel, because your weight is evenly distributed, that club is going to track back too quickly to the inside. You're going to get to parallel too quickly, and then that's going to follow you all the way up and around your backswing. So you're going to be struggling with that all the way up and all the way down. Okay. When you set up with a little more weight on your lead leg, on your left leg for right-hand golfers, and what I mean is maybe 10% more weight on your left leg. And when you set up like that and you pinch your right knee in just a little bit, it's a slight pinch, you're going to feel a relief. You're going to feel a relief of not being robotic. You're going to feel a relief of not feeling like you're in a cinder block, like your legs are just basically, tied to the ground. You're going to feel really relaxed, okay, with that little more weight on the left leg, the right knee slightly pinched in. And I tell guys,
flesh out pinched in. I'm not sure what you mean by pinched in.
If you're setting up over the ball and you got weight evenly distributed, both knees are basically straight up and down. They're straight up and down. Okay. When you pinch your right knee in just a little bit.
You go a little knock kneed. You're bringing it into the other knee.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. You're pinching your knee. Okay. For a right-handed golfer, you're pinching your knee in just a little bit to the left, And that's going to put 10% more weight on your left leg. So now you're more in an athletic position. You're more athletic. In other words, I tell my golfers, my 2-6ers, to feel like that you're in a stance to where nobody can push you over because you're really athletic. Okay. So that's a good point. And when I say pinch in, you want to pinch it in. You want to pinch that right knee a little bit to the left. And when you do that, you're going to put more weight on your left leg. Now, what happens is the posture, Fred, has more function in your golf swing than your grip. Now, the grip is more important, but the posture, the way you set up spine centered has more function because it's the catalyst between how we create space, width, and resistance. Now, we'll get to that in a little bit. But when you grip the club with the leverage grip, okay, and we talked about that in the previous show, when you grip it with the leverage grip with the spine-centered posture, now you have combined both the loft and the offset. The technologies of the club, the two important technologies of the golf club, the loft and the offset, have now been engaged. The spine-centered posture activates the offset, and the leverage grip activates the loft.
Okay.
So now you feel empowered. Now you don't feel like that you're hemmed in. Now you don't feel like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? Now you feel like I feel what I do next. The way that I'm set up and the way I'm gripped, I can feel now what I do next. And the next move is to maintain space off the ball, maintain the space because the club has to return on that space that you maintained. And as you begin to pass parallel, see, I don't look at parallel as a destination because guys get there too quick. They get there too quick. Now they're leaning too much to the inside. As we pass through parallel, we start creating width to the top.
Again, I need explanation. When you say parallel, you mean the club on the downswing is parallel to the ground?
No, what I'm talking about, we're setting up the downswing. In other words, as we take the club back, the parallel position is a destination for a lot of instructors. So what we say is it's not important on getting to parallel on the takeaway. The important thing is how you get there, how you pass through parallel as you start moving your way to the top of the backswing. You see, and if you create the right spacing and width on your way up to the top of the backswing, then you're going to have clearance coming down to start the downswing.
Mm-hmm. And where's your elbow in this backswing?
Well, as
keeping it tight on your right side, your back elbow.
Well, the right elbow. That's a good question because I get a lot of those questions too. Again, when you set up correctly over the ball and you maintain space and width as you take the club back, if your body doesn't move, if you don't shift too much weight or any weight at all to the right side, because there's no weight going to the right side, if your body stays home, stays centered, your arms move out on the plane, and as you begin to rotate up, your arms hit a brick wall and they have to rotate up because your body's staying home. So what happens is your arms, wrists, and hands and elbows all set themselves naturally without you feeling like you're forcing them to set.
Okay.
I was listening to a video today. A member sent me a video of Lee Westwood. And they said, "Hey, Lee, this is Tour Pro Tuesday." I guess it was some type of vlog. They said, "What are you working on, Lee?" Lee said, "What I'm working on is keeping my space in my swing." He was like, "Sometimes I get a little too cramped as I rotate to the top. My arms get cramped. My shoulders stop rotating, but my arms keep going." That's what we call you're cutting off your width. Lee says he wants to keep his shoulders, his arms, wrists, and hands wide. Okay, and this is Lee's words. But this is what we call space, width, and resistance with 2-6. So Lee basically was practicing space, width, and resistance, okay, as he was trying to get his swing more automatic.
Okay. All right. And how does that impact somebody not on the tour? It's like, how does that help us?
Well, the simple thing is the way these guys are swinging on tour, and I tell the guys this, I say, listen, we can't swing like Rory. We can't swing like Adam and Tiger and those guys, but we can swing with them. In other words, we can implement the same space, width, and resistance that they're implementing in their swings. It's just that they've done this a lot longer than we have, and they've chosen to make this a career. But my testament is that any weekend golfer who, of course, doesn't have a lot of physical, ailments, you got to be somewhat flexible, but to understand how width works in the swing, anyone can do it because you don't have to go to parallel on the backswing. You don't have to have a full 90-degree turn on your shoulders. You can go 3/4, you can go half, as long as you have the width in your swing, the spacing and the width in your swing, along with the spine center posture and leverage grip. So how does it work for the weekend golfer? It works beautifully because we're taking all that unwanted motion out of your swing. We're not asking you to do all these movements and force this elbow here, serve trays with your right hand and have snuff boxes going on up here and all that kind of stuff. We're taking all that out. So all this is really, really easy to implement because we're taking motion out of your swing.
And I would think that this is probably really helpful for seniors who've lost a lot of flexibility, for individuals who let's just call it overweight or not necessarily in the best physical shape. You're more of a conditioned athlete than a lot of people who like to go out and sit in a golf cart and play golf?
Yeah, I think that, of the 26 million golfers in this country, I'm willing to bet when they first picked up a golf club, they didn't have aspirations of just being a hacker. And I'm just going out on a limb when I say that.
It's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I don't think anybody just says, hey, when people pick up the golf club like I did 15, 20 years ago, I thought, oh, this is pretty easy. I'll hit this ball pretty far, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized there's a little method to the madness here. But my point being is, when guys first pick up a golf club, the first inclination of anybody of picking up a golf club is to snatch the club up, snatch it up, get too much weight on the right side because they're really going to kill this ball. And they're going to really give this ball a whacking. But what happens, though, Freddie, is they haven't really been corrected in doing that move. Because I could take you to videos right now on YouTube, and they'll simply say, load your right side, load the trail side. Well, that's no different than that guy picking up the club for the first time, snatching it up and loading his right side. Nothing's been corrected. So when you load the right side and you're twisting and swaying, and then you're trying to correct that twist and sway on the downswing, you're putting a lot of pressure on your back. You're putting a lot of pressure on your spine. You're putting a lot of pressure on your elbows and your neck and all that kind of stuff. And so when the motion is taken out of the swing, golfers now are realizing that at first it feels kind of restrictive because you're not loading, but the results they're getting, because they're using now the full technology of the golf club, now they're realizing that a centered, postured swing with a leveraged grip actually gives them more club head speed while taking pressure off their joints.
Let's take another quick time out. I'll be right back. I have a question for you as soon as we get back. So how does that impact? What if somebody doesn't have a very good hip turn?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It makes no difference.
It's not about the hip. It's not about the hip turn. It's about the spacing and width that your body creates naturally with the resistance of your flexibility. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I mean, I'm not asking anybody to force the hip back or to force a shoulder turn. I'm asking you to swing within your flexibility level and stop where your body says stop, but just be in the right position with spacing and width. That's it.
So, all right. Well, we've talked a lot about getting the club back. Let's talk about the downswing, and where that comes from and where it's supposed to go with our 2-6 method.
Yeah. The downswing is by far the most talked about, I guess, swing position in golf, because let me preface it by saying this. There's no way you can correct a downswing after your swing's already started. Now, what do I mean? I simply mean this. If somebody's trying to correct your downswing and they tell you, go to the top of your backswing, you're done. You're toast. Because I have to know how you got there to correct your downswing. Because just to go to the top of the backswing and you're out of position, you're twisting and swaying, and then I'm trying to correct a downswing based upon the flaws that have come up, I've got to know how you got there. So at 2-6 on my network, when I do videos, guys know that I'm a broken record. I say, hey, listen, guys, here's how we're going to fix our backswing. Now, first of all, remember, you got to have spacing and width to the top. You got to have the right space and the right width. You got to get the top of your backswing. You got to feel athletic. You got to feel more weight on the left leg, more pressure on your trail hip. If you don't feel that, your downswing is not going to work. Okay, so now let's hypothetically say that you're centered to the top, and now you're ready for the downswing. The key to the downswing is we've got to get that right elbow to drop in front of our trail hip. It can't be high. It can't be flying. You can't have space coming down as your right elbow comes into the cradle or into the slot position, because if you do, you've lost power. In other words, your arms have just not dropped enough. But with 2-6, if you're centered to the top, and I know you're in studio, Fred, and I'm in my room as well. Believe it or not, when you get to the top of the backswing with 2-6 with your right elbow and you're centered your right elbow just has to drop maybe a little over a foot. That's it. It's only got to drop a foot before it's in position. The sad part about it, though, is when people twist and sway, that right elbow takes a detour out and then it tries to come down. So how to start the downswing really derives from how you got to the top of your backswing. So in other words, I know that I'm a really, really good ball striker now. Now that doesn't mean that I'm hitting my lines on every shot, but I'm striking the ball really well. Because,
are you consistent? That critical word. Are you consistent with your ball striking?
Yeah, pretty consistent with my ball striking.
Okay.
When I do clinics,
that's a sales point.
Well, yeah. Well, when I do clinics, around the country, of course the spotlight is on me, and and I've shanked a few during my clinics, but I've recovered, and I said, well, here's how you recover from a shank or whatever. But even when I play with members, and when we play with members, the spotlight is on you, and I'm looking forward to going down and play some really nice golf courses in Florida, like we talked about. But again, the downswing, it's almost like this, Fred. The downswing, if the takeaway and the space widthing is right, the downswing is just a byproduct. The downswing is just an afterthought. For me to explain it would be this. You're at the top of the backswing. You're nice and centered, more weight on your lead, on your left leg, more pressure on your trail hip. All we're going to do now, this is a new term for you, Fred. We didn't talk about this last week. We're at the top of our backswing. What we're going to do is we're going to feel like we're exchanging our shoulders. We're exchanging our shoulders as we come down, and the arms, wrists, and hands are just following orders. And if we can get to that nirvana in golf, then the downswing is basically just an afterthought of how we got there. So the downswing will happen more automatic because remember, Fred, we're not transferring weight from the trail side to the lead side. We're transferring pressure from the trail hip to the weight on the lead leg. And let me say this, when you can transfer pure pressure into the weight of the lead leg as your head stays back, you talk about clubhead speed. You talk about whip appeal. You talk about guys who tell me, Terry, I'm getting 10, 15 more yards on my 7-iron than I ever have because they're finally using all the technology of the golf club on that downswing. Freddie, when you're trying to shift weight on the downswing, you're using absolutely none of the technology of the golf club. You're trying to use all the wrist, all the muscles, all the swing speed within your body, and the club is left out.
So when you say pressure, does that mean energy? Transferring energy?
Yeah, you could say energy.
Is that another word for that?
Yep, you can say energy. We just want to stay away from the weight word. We want to stay away from cinder block. We want to stay away from cinder blocks in terms of just that word picture of lugging cinder blocks from your right side to your left side. We want to transfer pure energy. We want to transfer pure pressure and no weight.
And like any swing, I have to imagine that your swing's not done when you hit the ball.
No, you're
still.
No. And we like to stay away from hitting the ball. We say hit through the ball.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when we
making contact.
Yeah. When we focus too much on hitting the ball, then what happens is we come over the top, our wrist inflect too soon, and we lose our lag. But to your point, the swing doesn't stop as you hit through the ball, because remember the space we talked about we created coming off the ball, the first 12 to 18 inches back, we have to keep that angle between the club and our forearms and keeping that left wrist nice and firm. We don't want to break that left wrist. We want that spacing coming off the ball nice and firm. Well, guess what? When you hit through the ball, you've got to what? You've got to have the same spacing through the ball to complete the swing plane instead of trying to snatch the club up. When we come down over the top and we're out of position and all we're trying to do is hit the ball, as we hit the ball, we immediately cut off the swing plane and get that chicken wing in our left arm, okay, that we all hate. And the reason why we get the chicken wing is because we don't have enough centered leverage. We don't have enough pressure moving down through the ball that's gaining centrifugal force with our arms to hit through the ball and then have that force keeping us on the swing plane and extending our arms through the ball, rotation release through the ball, so our arms can extend through the ball and get away from that chicken wing.
So interesting. So interesting. I just want to the listener who wrote to me saying, bring Terry back. I just want to hear him say Freddie again. You've said it 3 times.
Well,
I'm keeping track.
There you go. There you go. Well, the reason why, because we can see each other, Fred. I know people can't see it, but we can see each other. So it's like I'm talking.
Last
to you.
time we didn't, did we?
No,
we were, and you kept calling me Freddie, and it was like, and then you even asked, "Is that okay if I call you Freddie?" I was like, I don't know. It's like it's caught somebody's attention. Okay, and your website is?
My website's 26golfer.com.
26golfer.com.
And
why should people go there?
Well, because I have a free workshop. When you go to that site, the number 26, it's not, it's 26 like 26, 26golfer.com. When you go to the website, the only option you have is to join my free workshop. There's no glamour videos. There's no get 20 more yards on your drive. There's no, hit the ball close to the flag. None of that stuff. It's like, guys, get in the free workshop. It's free. You're going to learn more about your golf swing. You're going to learn more about the technology of the golf club than you ever have. And I also throw in a few extra videos there because, see, the workshop lasts about a week. You get about 7 or 8 email videos from me. There's 4 lessons to the workshop. And then I throw in some bonus videos on how to get more club head speed. I throw in my frequently asked questions video, and I throw in a TrackMan video that one of my members in Philadelphia couldn't believe his results, Freddie. Couldn't believe his results. He went down to Ramadan, I think the golf club Ramadan in Philly, went to his friend and says, "Hey, guy, I need you to put my swing on TrackMan." He says, "Why?" He says, "Just put it on TrackMan. I can't believe these numbers." And I have the PDF on the workshop. I've got his results. I got an interview with him, and 2.6 just basically blew TrackMan away.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love the sound of that bird behind you, man. The sound of, no, not the sound, but the last time you were on and you promoted 2.6 Golfer, did the Golf Smarter community respond?
Wow. I thought it was because I do my own email marketing as well. But after we did the show, there was a spike. It was a huge spike. And of course, and your numbers. I'm assuming, maybe when the show airs, you get after 4 or 5 days, you get this amount, whatever. But I stopped counting at 300 opt-ins on the workshop. And several members have opted in and actually have become members. I've got several members who listen to this podcast who are going to attend one of my 2.6 golf retreats in the spring.
Great. So, congratulations, man.
But we all know it's about media. We all know it's about exposure. And, I really like what you're doing, Freddie, because, with me, sometimes when, and I'm just going to be honest, the golfing community is very territorial. Everybody's got their own thing, and don't just swing how you feel, or you just grip it and rip it, and let's not listen to grip, let's not listen to that's not important. Just swing how you feel and all this kind of stuff. And the golfing community is real territorial, but it seems like that as you approach this, as big as your network is, that you give people like me just an opportunity to get the word out, and then let the public decide what's good.
That's the way I want to do it. It's, there's some guys I agree with, some guys I have no idea what they're talking about, and some guys I disagree with. But not being a PGA professional, just being that guy like you were, who was over years just playing golf, to me, it's like, I'm just going to put this out there. And if you agree, awesome. If you don't, wait till next week. You'll have somebody else who has something to say. Because I can't dispute what you're saying. I'm not in that position. So, right. Yay, let's do it.
Well, I mean, when people see my swing, and, my swing wasn't my swing 4 years ago, believe me. But when people see my swing, they thought, well, you were born with that. Or how long have you been playing golf? Since you were 3? I said, no, if I've been playing golf since I was 3, I'd be on the tour. If I'm playing golf since I'm 3, I'm 52. I only picked up the game when I was 32. And so when people see my swing, one guy accused me of being a snake oil salesman because he said, no, not only are you PGA, you're probably a PGA master instructor.
Wow.
And I said, excuse me, I don't even know what that is. So I'm assuming that's a compliment, from what I can hear, but I don't even know what a PGA master instructor is. And through a little research from guys, they said, no, a PGA master instructor is an instructor that goes beyond the 4 years of PGA instruction.
And it's the instructor who instructs the instructors.
Yeah. So I guess, but no,
we've had a couple on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm not that. But I guess, I guess the bottom line, Freddie, is when you struggle for 15 years like I did, and I looked at YouTube videos, I gave people chances to teach me. I've had 4 PGA lessons and it didn't work. And then all of a sudden I develop a method that works for everyone. Now I can go back and show people and tell people exactly what they need to hear, how they need to hear it, and present it in a way that they can consume.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing this again and for reaching out and for calling from Grenada. Yeah. I love that bird. And best of luck. Have a wonderful time. Is it just like 2 seasons a year? They don't have 4 seasons down there. It's 2 seasons.
It's
wet and dry.
Yes. And we're in the middle of wet season.
Yep. All right. Well, stay dry, man. It's great talking to you again.
Okay. Well, let's talk again, Freddie.
He did it. He ended with Freddie. What are you going to do? Once call me Freddie. You can call me Freddie. He thinks he's my uncle. Hey, it's time to announce the winner of our final $100 Amazon gift card of 2019, courtesy of Autoslash.com. Congratulations to Eric Watts of Columbus, Ohio. Eric, thanks so much for your participation, and keep your eyes open for an email from me with the details on retrieving your gift card. Now, the next giveaway is so special, that I'm going to leave a lot of time for y'all to get your name registered to win. Thanks to the generosity of Danny and David Lee of Gravity Golf, you have a chance to win an all-access pass to the Gravity Golf Challenge. Now, the all-access pass includes 3 stages, including 48 progressive lessons, access to their private Facebook group, and the bonus members corner. It's a $500 value that could be yours for free, but you have to register to win. Deadline is going to be Sunday, December 1, 2019, and all you have to do, of course, is go to golfsmarter.com, click on the giveaway banner at the top of the homepage, and register to win. Actually, the other reason that I'm taking a full month for you to register is that I'm pretty much gone for most of November because of travel. But I've got new episodes of Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans, all produced, all scheduled, and they will be published at our regular time. So even if I'm not here, you won't miss a thing. This week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, brought to you by twoguyswithgolfballs.com and autoslash.com, I head out to a local driving range to sit down for a 2-parter with Andrew Martinez. You may never have heard of Andrew, despite the fact that he's got 2 majors under his belt. Well, Andrew is a Hall of Fame PGA Tour caddy who looped for both Johnny Miller, when he was the first player in history to shoot a 63 in a major at the U.S. Open back in 1973. Plus, he also spent 2 decades with Tom Lehman. So get your free subscription for Golf Smarter Mulligans and, of course, Golf Smarter wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, I love to hear from you, and I read them, and I respond. Click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com.